I'm Melissa Curley, and I'm here from VSGA and Kelly Audie, and we're here to talk about the festival and see what's going on here today. So you're our first person today. So can you just tell us your name and what farm you're from?
I'm Jessica Dillner, and from the Dillner Hillside farm, and I raise colored Angora goats and sheep, and I've been doing this show for 22 years.
Wow.
So yeah, this is my favorite show, and I love to be part of the whole Vermont scene for local products, and everything you see here is something that I've grown and worked with and made into some kind of product to sell.
So do you work all year toward this goal?
Yes.
And do you do other shows as well?
Not anymore so much, but I do sell at consignment at a few different shops and through my website as well. Yeah.
So you brought a friend.
I did. This is Miss Muffet. She's a yearling Angora goat, and I brought her this year because I brought her last year, so she's done it before. And she also spent most of the summer in seclusion because she had a horn injury and needed to heal. So she's used to being by herself. And it's healed pretty well, so she got to come today. Very much so, and it's a very good educational piece to show that this is a goat and not a sheep.
And she does look like a sheep.
Exactly.
Right, so that is a good educational piece. And so tell us what else, what we should know about Angora goats and what kind of wonderful things make them special.
I just have always enjoyed the mohair fiber. I actually loved the fiber before I even knew what animal it came from. So I was knitting with mohair, and I found out that that came from an Angora goat. And when we bought a piece of land that I could have animals at, it just seemed like the perfect match. And so I do almost all the work myself. I raise the animals, I shear them myself, I wash the fiber. Sometimes I have it carded by a mill. A lot of times I'll just hand spin from the locks, and so I produce everything from locks to roving to hand spun yarns to mill spun yarns, and I do all the knitting and crocheting and weaving too. So.
You are busy all year.
Yes, all year.
Yes.
Yeah.
So tell us why this fiber? Why are you choosing this?
Because it is unique, and there aren't very many people in our area raising Angora goats. They're difficult in our region, but if you spend a little bit of time and effort, you can definitely get a really beautiful product. And I just love the connection of the land, the animal, and just being able to wear what you're growing, just like eating locally. So, yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I did.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jess.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
Nice to see you today.
Good morning.
So we are coming around and talking to everybody about why they're choosing wool and what you're passionate about. And we're looking at all your beautiful things and your sheep. And can you tell us a little bit about what you do on your farm and what you're here to basically show us?
Yeah, so on our farm, we have just under 200 sheep. We've got a commercial flock of crossbreds and then some purebred Border Leicesters and Finns. But our real passion is in the sheep and the land. We're also sheep shearers. So a bunch of the wool I have here is also from flocks I've shorn with farmers who just, can't get to the festival, don't really understand the marketing of wool, so we can kind of bridge that gap for them.
So are you representing them, or do you have their wool, or how?
Yeah, we put all of the shearing clients' wool under a label we call Shearer's Twist.
Okay.
So, everything is either from our flock or the Shearer's Twist, and I can connect people with farmers if they want. But like I said, there's a lot of farmers that just don't want to do the customer interactions, so we can represent them
really
here.
Nice.
Yeah,
that's really nice. Did you make this?
One of my shearing clients did.
This is beautiful. How many shearing clients do you have?
300 or so.
Wow.
Yeah.
And in the entire area of Vermont?
In New England. Yeah, we travel all around New England and a lot in New York.
So you say we. How many people shear?
Me and my partner. Yeah, Colin also shears.
Together.
And tell us who you've brought here today.
Yeah, so up front is a Border Leicester named Aldi. Lucy. She's a good advocate here for the Border Leicester breed. A little bit of a troublemaker, but very friendly. And laying down is Lucy, and she's one of our new ewes in our crossbred commercial flock. So we also like to talk about, not just breed-specific fiber, because she's a crossbred, so it's not purebred, but still grows great wool, and is a really good sheep.
Wonderful. So that's what you're really representing here, is my feeling is you're kind of representing something that isn't specialized as much as it is just representing wool in general.
Yeah, we're all about the sheep as shearers and as land stewards. The wool is, I don't want to say a second thought to us, but we're here because of the sheep. That's really our passion. This just happens to be what they're really good at producing, and so we want to promote that for the sake of the animals.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much for talking with us.
Yeah.
It's great. Hi. Thanks for having us in your booth here at the festival. And I love your name, Cracked an Egg Farm. I love that. Tell us who came up with that name.
My daughter came up with the name. She was a little girl.
That's amazing.
She said the eggs cracked to get the eggs out, and that's how she came up with Cracked an Egg.
That's cool.
Yeah.
You have some really interesting sheep over there. Can you tell us a little bit about what sheep you brought here today?
Yes, they're Clun Forest sheep. They're a heritage breed. They're a rare breed. You're not going to find a whole lot of them around. We have registered ones here. These guys are 4 months and 6 months. And we brought them in just because they're so friendly. They're a dual-purpose breed. So they're going to produce meat, milk, and fiber.
Nice.
And their wool is a little springier than a lot of other wool. And so a lot of people take it and mix it with other wool to make it bigger.
So we're not going to see these sheep, you said, very
Not
often.
too often, no.
Yeah.
This is my daughter Megan. She's the one that
Megan. Hi, I'm Melissa. This is Kelly.
Hi.
So can you tell us, do you have different, just this Clun Forest, or you have Finn as well?
I have Finn as well. I used to have Cotswolds, but I moved, and 3 breeds was too much for the move, so I got out of the Cotswolds.
Okay. Yeah. They're beautiful.
Thank you.
So you've got a bunch of stuff here in your booth, and so I see you've got goat products, and you've got the sheep products, and roving, and so what is there a certain focus of your farm?
For me, it's more of the endangered stuff, and for my local customers. So I live down in southern Vermont now, and I raise pigs, rabbits, goats, and sheep for meat, as well as poultry. And I also have a garden now that's been doing really well, farm on my driveway. But right now, it's mostly to support and sustain my local community, as well as helping the rare endangered breeds, as well as the heritage breeds. So that's kind of what my main focus is, and then the skin products are like a side to that. I'm allergic to a lot of stuff, and so originally my mom started making Gosmo products as a kid for me because I was allergic to everything. And so that has kind of been, she makes it and so do I. It's the same exact, recipe. But so we've kind of ventured into a little bit here and there, and then painting on the side when we have free time. But yeah, so
it's interesting because it kind of is, I think with a lot of people, it springs from so many things you're saying. She did this when she was a little girl, and I was allergic to this, so now I'm doing this that.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
What's so great is that all of this kind of springs from one thing.
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
So one of the questions that we ask always at the end of the podcast is why wool? So why wool? Why the passion for all of this?
Yeah, so I'm a huge needle felter. I haven't done any yarn yet, so I'm not one of those yarn people. But I'm getting there. So my mom did put me in 4-H as a kid, and I always wanted sheep. She did not want sheep. I did. So I got my way. But yeah, so originally I fell in love with the fins because they're dual purpose. They can give you those multiple lambs. And as a kid, I wanted to make my own money, an entrepreneur, try to how can these sheep pay for themselves? And so their wool was perfect for hand spinning. So I was and then when I got some, I found out that there was actually different varieties in the fin wool. So I had to like really figure out what I wanted in the fin in my own mind. And so then they're great for needle felting and wet felting. And then the Glen Forest does not felt at all. So that was pretty difficult and a very hard learning experience for me. And then the Cotswold that I had, I loved the curly locks. So like for my felting projects, the Santa beards and things like that, they were perfect and they were heritage and rare and endangered. So that's why I have those.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
That's why wool.
And look, and you're still doing it.
And I'm still doing it 18 years later.
That's amazing. Fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing this with us.
Thank you guys.
Stopping by.
Hi Deb, hi Suzanne. You guys are from the Green Mountain Rug Hooking Guild.
Correct.
Thanks for being part of our podcast today. So
Great
tell
to
us
be
a
here.
little bit about these are just magnificent.
These are different types of rugs that have been hooked and punched. This one is Mama Hen, and she was a hen I had at my house, and she lived to be 14, and I put the whole story of her on the back of my rug over there on a label. And this is what's called a hit or miss. It's also made with wool strips and wool fabric. Okay? These other pieces, the butterfly, rooster, horse, and sheep, are made with yarn, what is come from sheep here, like this. And this is punch hooking versus regular or traditional, I should say, rug hooking.
Does this take a certain type of yarn? Like is it worsted weight yarn or
Any type that you feel you want to use.
And if it's too thin, you can just double or triple it up.
Yeah, to make whatever. And we use linen and monk's cloth and rug warp for our backings. There's lots of different backings that you can get.
and how long does it take to create these beautiful pieces?
It depends on the person. I mean, if you want with a punch piece like this and you really want to get her done, you get it done in a day. Yeah.
And some rugs
some people
take
can
2
get it
years
done today.
or
Yeah.
more. It
Yeah.
depends upon, as Deb said, your style and speed of hooking, and also the intricacy of the pattern and the design that you've chosen to work with.
Right. Yeah, a lot of, if you see some of these are with a very small, like a number 3 is called wool strip. Said here. Okay. Those are all the different wool strips that you can use. I prefer what's called a primitive, a number 10. And I find it fast. I have strong hands and it can go really fast. Like this took a week for me. So, yeah.
And so how many members?
Over 300. Really?
Yeah, in Vermont, New Hampshire. They come from all
And do
over.
you get together to do this?
Yes.
Do you have weekly or monthly or?
There are, it varies. There are some people who have weekly gatherings, and we have the big guild, and then we have smaller groups that meet, like up in Grand Isle or Brattleboro or all over the state. And then we get together as a guild a couple of times a year, and then every other year we have a big rug show, and
Which is
our rug
next
show is
May.
going to be in May at Sugarbush.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll want to come to that.
Definitely want to come. So I want to ask you something that's kind of pulling together all of this beautiful festival, and that is why fiber arts for you? Why fiber arts? For us, it's why wool, but why you're using other things too. So why fiber arts versus skiing or painting?
Well, one of the main things I love about it is it the people that are involved. They are passionate and kind and beautiful, really caring people, and they'll share their skills and their knowledge with you. And it's really a very beautiful place to be when you're with other fiber artists. And that makes the biggest difference. The other is when you're doing it, you're doing a repetitive motion, and you're actually raising your serotonin, which is a hormone that makes you happy. So it's an amazing experience that you want to have because you're raising your serotonins, and that is another wonderful thing too. So.
It's raised my serotonin.
Yeah. No, it's color, it's texture, it's the way it feels.
Yep.
It's exciting. It's beautiful.
Right.
That's wonderful.
Every fiber is wonderful.
And so we're looking forward to when you're going to be a fiber artist.
There you go. I'm going to grow it, and I'm going to come right here and make myself a rug.
Okay.
Thank you.
Nice meeting you.
Yeah, you too.
We are in Woolens and Nosh with Michelle. Michelle, thanks for letting us come in and look at your stuff. It's so beautiful.
Thank you so much.
I'm feeling like a holiday vibe going on.
We do. We've got some Halloween.
Yeah.
We've got some winter holiday stuff. We've got autumnal. We've got just cuz, like lots of 80s references. And we do samples for everything because very rarely does this translate into that when they see it in the skein kind of thing. So we always give it samples so people know what they're going to get kind of thing.
So tell us something about it. So when we were talking before we did this interview, you were telling me that you started out as a baker, which I see the sheep on the pie.
I did.
Okay, and the Nosh, I got it. So what turned you to doing this?
We moved to Vermont about 8 years ago, and so I was baking before we came up here, but when we moved, I didn't have the retail space anymore. And so my creative energy went into knitting, and I was loving self-striping socks, but I was frustrated because I wanted them to be wider stripes and I wanted to have certain colors, and then I said, well, I have to figure that out. So I read a couple books, I watched a couple podcasts, and then I spent a summer figuring it out. And so there's a lot of math. It's kind of like baking. There's a lot of math, but once you figure it out, you get to really riff in between and see how far you can push things and make things go together. So I really enjoy that aspect of having creativity within structure.
It's beautiful.
It really gets me
and
happy.
Kelly had something to add to this, and she was like, it is really hard. So we can really appreciate what you're doing.
Right. There's the number one rule is don't tangle the yarn.
Don't tangle the yarn.
Don't tangle it, because you're having to take something that's put up small, make it large, dye it, make it small again, so that people can work with it. And it's just every time you touch it, it's an opportunity to snarl it up, right?
Yeah.
So that's the number one rule of my studio.
So one of the things that we talk about a lot at the end of the podcast is always, why, well, you kind of answered us as to why, knitting, why self-striping, but like what really drives you to do this? Is it the love of color? I mean, when I see this, I think this is truly like an artist here.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
And your sweater, a little vibe going on.
There is was very little color in any other part of my life. We moved around a lot growing up, and we didn't have the opportunity to paint our walls. We were always like maybe housing and stuff like that, right? So I didn't learn how to decorate my house, but I do love to decorate with my yarn. It's a lot of fun.
And it is, I mean, it's just so beautiful. And your socks are amazing too.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's
Great.
fantastic. Thank you so much for talking with us today,
great to
Michelle.
talk with
Really
you.
nice to speak
Thanks
with
a
you.
lot.
And good luck here. Goodling is here from Goodling Family Farm, Grandview Farm, and also her daughter Anna is here. And we're at the festival, and thank you guys for letting us come into your booth.
Sure.
So we're taking a look at all the beautiful things that you have here today. So, but what I didn't know was the things that you did, all the hand stuff, the painting and stuff too. There's no end to it. So Kim, tell us a little bit about what you raise and what we're looking at here today, what your primary product is and your focus on being at the festival is.
Okay, so we raise Gotland sheep, and everything in our booth is made using the wool from our sheep. And you know, through the years, we've owned them about 10 years now, and through the years, I've tried different products, you know, turning the wool into different things, and where I've kind of landed right now is what I call functional art. Making pieces that are useful and that you can decorate your home with and have wool in your home. So, you know, I have felted rugs, I have hand-woven rugs, hand-woven blankets.
You got your vest behind you, beautiful things.
You know, clothing. So that's kind of where I've landed in terms of what I'm doing with my wool. And we've been coming to the festival for 20?
Yeah, probably 20 years.
20 years.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think of you little with your sheep being around. So it's nice that you're here too. It's like
I love coming. This is my favorite festival to be at.
So before we did this, we were talking about the fact that we circle around in the interview and we talk about why wool. Like, why is that everybody's, so here we are in the middle of all this, right? Why fiber, why wool? So we talked about kind of a litany list of the things of wool. So tell us, why wool?
Go for it. Okay. All right. Well, it's warm, it's soft, it's biodegradable, it's fire resistant, it's eco-friendly, and sheep are so cute. I mean, why not? Why not?
Why not wool?
Yeah.
It should be the logo. Why not?
Yeah.
I mean, anytime we vacation, I look for sheep.
Yep, me too.
I went to England this summer with my husband to visit friends, and I kept saying, James, I want to see sheep.
Yep.
Where are the sheep?
Whenever I travel, it doesn't matter what beautiful views we're looking at. I went to Iceland a couple summers ago, and we're driving through stunning landscapes, and I'm just looking at the sheep. Like, all I want to look at is the sheep. That's the most exciting part for me.
So basically, I mean, it's their product, but it's the animal.
Yeah.
It's the animal.
Yeah,
You love the animal.
And I think Gotland sheep are a little bit unique from a lot of other breeds because they seek human attention. They want to converse with you. You know, you walk out to the field or to the barn, and they come to the fence and they want to talk to you. They want to have that relationship with you. Instead of, you know, sheep that you come to the fence and they all run, like, person, you know, run. The Gotlands come to you, and they start their life that way. As a young lamb, they come and stand at your feet, and they look up at you, and with this, you know, endearing look on their face of, pick me up, please,
Love me.
you know, love me.
Yeah.
So,
Kim is dressed as a Gotland today.
totally dressing.
much. We'll take a look around your site here. It's beautiful. Thank you so much for letting us interview you here today.
Super.
Good luck at the festival.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
Thank you.
Peggy from Junction Fiber Mill. Nice. Thank you for letting us come in today. And
Oh,
see.
we're thrilled to have you here.
It's beautiful. Lovely colors.
Yeah,
autumn.
There's a lot of autumn colors,
Yeah.
but you know you got to have the yellows and then you got to have the blues. There's the cools and warm.
That's true, and you got some great oranges in here too.
Yeah, we do.
So Peggy, what do you, when you're here, you've got all this beautiful yarn, and tell me what you want to represent to everybody. What do you want them to know about the mill by being here?
Well, that we are a mill. I think that, there was a time when Vermont had almost a mill in every town. And that, of course, all went away, by the turn of the century, the 1900s. And so we are a small mill in White River Junction, and we started by taking the raw wool from New England sheep farms and giving them back gorgeous yarn. And what we thought about 7 or 8 months in was, we could set aside a little bit of our mill's capacity to create our own line of yarns, working with the wool from farms that like sheep, but they aren't interested in the wool. So we have a line that we call Farm Fresh, and it's breed specific. And it gives me great joy to be able to say, yep, what you're buying is from a farm, next town over. Here it is, Norwich, Vermont.
Beautiful.
A 3-ply Jacob that you can't get this in a store. So it's letting people feel the wool and knowing that when you buy it, you're supporting a sheep farmer who's trying to figure out how to make the numbers work. They love having sheep, but it's a tough business raising sheep. So knowing that you have a good place to take your fiber to make it into good yarn that you can then enjoy selling at farmers markets or online. And then, of course, we also have our line of making tracks, which we don't source from New England. It's wool coming from the ranches out west because we sell so much of it. But it's still being hand-dyed right in our little mill in White River Junction. So it feels good.
Nice, and it feels to me like this is a project that's clearly much bigger than just having the yarn there, like you're talking about. So tell me, what got you into this, and why wool? Because we say this at the end of every podcast. Why wool versus being a dental hygienist? Why would you choose to do this?
So I always wanted to have a sheep farm without knowing at all what I was talking about. My husband and I moved from the Chicago area to Vermont to start a sheep farm in 2012. So we have a flock of Corriedale. I'm not a great knitter. I just have always loved the fiber and just love that breed. And what you find is when people start having sheep, it's like Corriedale, and then there's, Jacob. People get very attached to their breed. And just seeing the animals, sheep are just a very friendly in general breed animal, and I just love shearing day is like Christmas for me. When you see that wool coming off the animal and you're just like going, oh my God, and then you know the kind of yarn that it will make. It just makes me happy.
And do you have yarn made from your own sheep?
Absolutely, yeah. We get about, we winter over about 34 sheep, and because of the size of our breed, that gets us about 250 pounds of raw wool, which when you scour down is about 180 pounds. And of course, and I'm wearing it. So I'm wearing my sheep.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Well, thank you so much. It is gorgeous.
Thank you.
We appreciate you taking time to talk to us.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Take care.
So Derek.
Yes.
Thank you for being part of our podcast at the festival here today. Thank you so much for having us at your booth. So tell us what you do. So we're so happy to speak with the Tannery. So tell us a little bit about it. What's special about what you guys do?
So Vermont Natural Tannery is primarily a tanning service. We work for farmers across the country and regionally, and we provide a tanning service that is all natural, environmentally sound, and family safe. We're also trying to expand our retail line of skins. So we're trying to source skins from other farmers and reduce any skins that might be going towards the waste stream, and increase the volume of naturally tanned skins that are available to consumers as an option in the market.
Like behind us here, tell me a little bit.
So this skin right here was tanned using mimosa bark, and the leather comes out super soft. This one in particularly was sourced locally from a farmer that did not wish to have their skin saved. So we wanted to make sure that we made the most of this animal and also created a family heirloom for somebody that could last for ages. The leather of the mimosa bark tan actually improves over time, gets a little bit of a patina, and there's all kinds of research that shows the positive health and mental effects of just being around a sheepskin and sitting on a sheepskin, hypoallergenic, and who doesn't need a snuggle buddy, right?
It is a snuggle buddy, right? but even in the summer, it's not hot, really.
Right. Yes, they have a cooling effect as well because of the wool.
Right.
Yeah, so it's cool in the summer, warm in the winter.
Like you said, hypoallergenic.
Hypoallergenic.
Nice to know.
And you know, there's other tanneries out there that when you receive the skin back, you can actually smell some of the off-gassing of the chemicals that they use. Our skins, if anything, smell like wool would, smell like, I don't want to say a sheep because they don't smell like the sheep, but they smell like a clean leather shoe store almost.
Oh, they do.
Right?
You're right. Yeah.
And so
I would wear those as
shoes. There's some other tanneries that also have a practice of intentionally putting holes in the skins to help with some of the ease of their process. And our goal is to have a full, complete skin that can be used for home decor, but could also be used as a garment. We're turning skins into fabric that should be able to last indefinitely.
That's wonderful.
It's a valuable, renewable resource that shouldn't go underutilized.
And we are using the whole animal then.
Yes.
Yeah. And how did you get into this? Like, so the question that we ask everybody is why wool? And you need it, so why?
So, I was a teacher before this path, and I was at the high school level where I taught agriculture and science. And part of what I taught the students was the food systems and the value of our food systems and systems thinking, and how to break down all the different parts of our food fiber shed, and figure out how we can make it the most sustainable. Where can we tighten those loops? So to have the opportunity to then be able to step into the food system, to be a part of the fiber shed, be a part of that cycle of flow of food and fiber in our system is a very powerful thing. And now I can do it in a way that increases sustainability for the environment and increases the sustainability for the small family farms in our region.
And really, you're still teaching.
Yes.
Right?
There you go.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Well,
It's in my blood. So yeah.
And on your skin.
Yeah. Right.
Thank you very much for being part of this.
Thank
we
you.
appreciate it.
Thank you. It's
Take
been a
care.
pleasure.
Have a good festival.
Thanks. You too.